Never consider rejection as a failure on your part. Always view it as a learning experience.
What's up, Wealthy Nation? My name is Joseph Simeon Deonaraine, the host of the Your Wealthy Journey show, where I interview successful entrepreneurs weekly on their success journey. Our guest today is Andrea Misir, and who is Andrea? Andrea is a social and digital media marketer and also ad campaign specialist. She had the opportunity to work on million-dollar digital media marketing campaigns for large companies such as Sprint, Johnson and Johnson, Jackson Hewit, NBC, and also other companies that you can find on her website. And let's just jump into the interview we have with her. Hey Andrea, what does wealth means to you?
So wealth to me is more than just money. As you know, when you ask that question to a bunch of other people, that'll probably be the first thing that comes up to their mind. To me, it's more of a mindset. So let me ask you a question. When you think of wealth, who are some of the first people that pop in your head?
Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, those guys.
Mm-hmm. So I think in order for everybody else who aren't as smart as Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, in order to achieve their own level of wealth, they have to shift their mindset. So a lot of people, especially people that work, they have jobs, they go after money. When you obtain your wealthy mindset, money comes after you. Because think about it, obviously Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, they work their butts off to get to where they are. But they're at a point where they don't have to struggle anymore to get their next payment. They have systems in place where the money will come to them. It's kind of like the Rich Dad, Poor Dad philosophy by Robert Kiyosaki. You read that book?
Yeah, it's awesome book. Awesome mindset to create for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a bit about yourself. What's your business about? What do you do? Let's get to know you a bit better.
Yeah, I always hated this question whenever I had to interview. Yeah, but I mean, I've been a New Yorker all my life. My parents are from Guyana, so we're kind of countrymen in that regard.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Queens. I recently moved up to the Bronx. I'm one of the few people that I know who went to college majoring in something that became my career. So at first I was going to do economics, but I'm like, nah, it's not really me. And then I found marketing, and it was a match made in heaven. And it just became part of who I am. I've always considered myself a nerd. I grew up watching Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, playing hours and upon hours of video games. And that philosophy just kind of stuck with me. So I consider myself a marketing nerd in pretty much every sense of the word. Throughout my career, I've been doing this for almost a decade. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of big brands when I've had jobs. So I've worked on campaigns for Sprint, Johnson and Johnson, more specifically Desitin, the baby cream.
Okay.
I've done some campaigns for Jackson Hewit, and I've also worked with a lot of small businesses and job seekers. But job seekers is part of my passion project, in that my career has been ridiculous. There's been a lot of roller coasters. I've been laid off, I've been fired, I've been let go, things didn't work out, and I don't want anybody else to struggle the way that I did. So I've created a brand for myself called the Millennial Job Coach, which I'm going to be launching within the next couple months to assist others in my shoes, so that they don't have to feel as though they're not good enough.
So the Millennial Job Coach is a extension to what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it still boils down to my philosophy of marketing.
Okay.
Because a lot of job seekers, especially when I see it on Facebook, like part of my job, since I'm a marketer, I get to be on Facebook all the time. Yay! because I manage over 50 Facebook pages professionally. Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm part of job groups, especially like when I was still searching for jobs myself. I see it's like people just don't know how to present themselves properly. And again, it comes back down to mindset. So if they change how they present themselves, then doors will open for them. Like especially like if people are going to use social media as a job seeking tool, it's common sense, but sometimes it doesn't. Common sense isn't so common. But
not everybody know how to present themselves properly. I think it's all a learning process that we have to go through, or some people have to go through some skills that they need to learn. And what are some of the tips you can give? Probably some job seekers that are out there, because not everyone will step into business. Some people love to have a job and some people love to start a business. So what advice can you give to those job seekers?
The biggest piece,
to present themselves better.
Well, to present themselves better, you have to be mindful as to why the job is there to begin with. So instead of, especially like when you write a cover letter, resume, or interview, instead of saying, here's what I do, you need to think more about what they're looking for. So instead of saying, I can do this and that, say, I can do this, that, and the other thing for you, which will result in good stuff, basically.
Okay. And you said while you were struggling, you had some roller coaster moments, some ups and downs. Can you tell us maybe one of your biggest struggles you had in business when you were starting out?
So my biggest struggle, which it's very common for any entrepreneur business owner, is just finding the right clients, and constantly getting the runaround, constantly getting excuses, dealing with nastiness. You have to persevere, and you have to keep that mindset again that it's not them, it just wasn't working out. But sometimes some of those conversations have gotten pretty nasty. More particular, recently there was this woman who I was helping out. I was giving her a lot of free advice, and I was trying to build the relationship. She had a B2B brand selling. She was in the medical industry, and instead of it, let's just say the conversation did not go the way I expected, I gave her all this advice, and she asked me, "Oh, do you want to be an intern?" And this was a couple months ago. This isn't when I was still in college. Oh, wait, why would you think I'd want to be an intern? I never expressed interest in that. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, it's because you were so helpful." Like, yeah, I would be more interested in consulting with your company. And she's like, "Oh, no, we already have somebody from Silicon Valley helping us out." And when I asked more, I'm like, "Okay, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, when would be a good time to follow up?" And then she just copped such a negative attitude. And it's at this point where I don't need that in my life. So I just wished her well and moved on. But some people, if they have a negative or nasty attitude, it affects you, no matter how thick-skinned you think you are or you actually are.
Yeah, that is. I think that is a bit of the learning process you have to go through. Sometimes you have some good clients, and sometimes you have some, let's say, nasty or negative-minded clients that just want to misuse you. But that's all a part of, I think, the having customers at some point.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship. I've had even, not earlier this year, but last year, there was another client that I had based in Europe. They were a food brand. And it's just like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. They were always late with paying. I kept on asking them that they needed certain assets. They never gave them to me. They were horrible to communicate with, and they had some nasty attitude. They were threatening to sue me and my partner, because this was one of my friends I was working with him. He was doing their site, and I was handling their marketing. And yeah, he ended up reversing 2 of our previous invoices. So I actually lost money from that. Like, it got to the point where the conversations that I've had were making me physically ill, that I dreaded talking to them and working on their account. So when he decided to sever things, I'm like, good riddance. Be on your way. I can't deal with your negative energy anymore.
And what's one of the best? Can you maybe tell us a story of one of the best clients you ever had in the past? Because they're both bad clients and good clients. Can we hear a story of a good client, maybe?
Absolutely. So this story would be the very first client that I had when I was still in between jobs. And I hate to say that it was magical or use terms like that, because it sounded like it's in a fairy tale, but it wasn't. She reached out to me through LinkedIn. I was again, because I was job searching, I was always on LinkedIn anyway. And we just had a conversation and just hit it off. And when I said, like, hey, she owns her own jewelry company. She has handmade bohemian jewelry. Her name is Allison Story, and you should check her out.
Okay.
Story with 2 R's. And this was back in 2014. We just went back and forth, and I became her social media consultant. I managed her Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. I did a lot for her. I did her email marketing. I've done her influencer marketing. I worked with her for about 2 years, and we would support each other. Obviously, like, she would. I saw some jewelry for her from her store that I have. Well, it's in my bedroom right now. I've gifted some of them to my friends and my family, and they knew about her and they loved her. They loved her stuff, and yeah, it was a great relationship. But sadly, we had to part ways. But it's okay. I still support her to this day.
Okay, and your vision for your new job that you're your new business that you're starting in 2018. Where are you going with that? What's your vision for that in the coming year or in the next few years?
So my vision for this brand, Millennial Job Coach in particular, is to be that resource for my fellow job seekers, particularly new grads and current college students, because the job landscape is going to be shifting dramatically in the next few years. I took on an assistant last week, and I told her the same advice. So she's going to be graduating from my alma mater in a few months. You need to have an entrepreneurial mindset. There's no such thing as job security anymore. So when you are out looking, you need to be able to communicate your value and what you can bring, whether it's to a business, if you're going to join them as an employee or as a consultant. So you need to be entrepreneurial in what you provide any business.
Okay, so what will you advise our millennials, maybe starting their business or want to start their business or even going for a job? What do you advise them?
So my advice to millennials is about rejection. Never consider rejection as a failure on your part. Always view it as a learning experience. So the next time an employer says that you didn't get the job, don't take it personally. Instead, focus on what you can do better next time. Ask for feedback. Say, hey, thanks for letting me know. Wish I could join. If you can just give me any feedback as to what I could do better, that would be great. And never burn bridges in that case.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to get to the point where you're taking rejection hard and you see fault in the employer. At the end of the day, the employer has to make the best decision.
Yeah.
And, there could be, well, I'm speaking from experience as I was a recruiter last year. I was a temporary recruiter, and I've had to recruit for my job. I've literally gotten hundreds of applicants. So
Okay. So you had to be the cruel person to say
no, no, I don't. It's like if I ever had to interview someone, whether in person or on the phone, I always let them know what the next steps are, and I always encourage them. If for whatever reason you don't hear from me because there's a lot of stuff on my plate,
yeah.
be proactive, follow up. Don't let any balls drop because people are busy and they're gonna forget.
Yeah.
Not because they're bad people. It's just that life
Yeah.
happens and life
It
is
happens.
hectic.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. So so that was the first part of our interview. Are you ready for the next round?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. What's the best book you've ever read and why is that?
The best book that I've ever read is 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. It literally changed my life.
In what way, maybe?
Just the way how he uses time. He views time differently. The fact that, in the beginning when he had his company, he was just able to make more money off of less clients, and he was still able to make more money also with using less of his time. It blew my mind. Like, teach me your ways, Tim Ferriss.
Awesome. And what's a daily habit that contributes to your success?
Back to time management. For me personally, I started this year. I started writing stuff down. I have a planner that I will pull up for you. my planner. I have 3 of these.
Okay.
And I just started writing little tasks down that I know I can knock out quickly and easily. And just like that endorphin rush, I think that's what it's called. That when you accomplish something, your brain feels good. It's almost like you're on a little high.
Mm-hmm. So that's it.
Yeah, just writing stuff down, just a few things at a time that I know I can get done, and being as managed as I can about my time so that I'm not putting more stuff on my plate that I can handle.
Okay. And who are your top 3 role models?
One is definitely my mom. So my parents divorced when I was still a child, and it was pretty nasty. So I saw my mom being both parents and taking a lot of stuff on. She's one of the hardest working women I know.
Okay.
Oprah is definitely one. If I'm not mistaken, she's the first female billionaire. And the fact that, again, she has to work her butt off to get to where she is and build her gigantic empire is definitely motivational.
Okay.
And the third one, I'm gonna butcher her last name, Malala Yousafzai.
No, I don't know her.
She is, you know who she is. So she was shot in the face when she went to school in Pakistan by the Taliban.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's just been an advocate. She's still like in her teens, I believe. She's a young woman, but she's been such a visible, passionate advocate for girls everywhere to not be afraid and to just be fearless in their pursuit of knowledge and tireless and expanding their horizons.
Okay, so she's still alive today.
She's still alive. She got shot in the face. And she's still going. It's basically, and she's so well spoken and she's so polished. So if you look up her interviews, like even just typing Malala, Malala, just type it into Google, she'll be the first hit, and you can see some of the interviews that she did. It's the best middle finger that she can give to terrorists without actually flipping them off.
Okay, understand. And what's the best entertainment movie you've watched so far? And yeah, that's it. Entertainment movie you watched so far?
Probably Deadpool.
Oh, okay.
Deadpool is my favorite comic book character. I relate to him the most.
Okay, I think they're coming with the part 2, right? Or is it already
The sequel's supposed to come out in June, I believe. I'm
June?
looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that also. And let's say you woke up one day, you didn't have any money, only food, shelter, a laptop, the internet. What would you do in the next 30 days to earn $1,000?
So I would hit my social media and network like crazy. Reach out to my connections, reach out to my network, and see if there's any pain points that I can solve to help any business owners or entrepreneurs with their social media. If they need help with Facebook advertising, Google advertising, I'd be able to lend my hand and make, I'd say double, triple that easily.
Okay, awesome. And our last question is, how can we connect with? No, give us a parting piece of advice and let us know how we can connect with you.
So my parting piece of advice kind of goes with the theme of mindset and presenting yourself in the best possible way.
Okay.
Never let anyone deter you. Never let any circumstance or negative people think that you're not worthy of wealth or being able to leave a positive impact on the world or somebody else. You are important. You do have value. And if you are serious and passionate in your pursuit of wealth, then be able to serve as many people as you can, and wealth will follow you.
Okay, and how can we connect with you?
So since I'm on social media literally all day, I'm on Twitter at Andrea Misir. I'm on LinkedIn, Andrea Misir. And you could send me a Facebook request, but I'm very selective with who I bring in. So before you do, just shoot me a message, say hi. We'll see if we hit off. We could talk about any video games that we played recently. I recently watched The Punisher, so we can geek out about Marvel and just those Netflix shows. And yeah, we can go from there.
Okay, awesome. Andrea, thank you for one more thing. What's your website where people can go for the Millennial Job Coach?
So my current website that you can learn more about me is andreamazir.com. The website, the Millennial Job Coach, is still under construction. So you can, if you want to learn more about me and what I do, just go to andreamazir.com, shoot me a note, and once the Millennial Job Coach is live, everybody will know.
Okay, awesome. People, you've heard it. Visit andreamazir.com and maybe you can sign up for something there for the Millennial Job Coach. I think soon in 2018. So Andrea, thank you for being here on the show. We learned quite a few things, and the best of luck to you.
Thank you for having me, Joseph. It's been a real pleasure. And bye, everyone.
Okay, bye.